Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you as always for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. So thank you once more for joining us on this Wednesday evening, the Wednesday after Mother's Day, which we will get into here momentarily. But just a brief announcement. For those of you who may or may not know, we used to use Skype up until recently. That now Skype is no longer a thing; it's now gone, and their replacements isn't exactly that great, I gotta say. So we've gone to a different platform, or I guess software, to do these shows. So if our audio sounds different, or the visuals are a little bit different and you don't like them or whatever, we got to do this and this and that, by all means give us a clue, hit us up, let us know if we sound a little low or a little high, because we're basically testing out these meets, right? Google Meets, I think is what it's called. So we're gonna give it a try and see how that sounds, because RIP Skype is no longer around. We knew it was going to happen. We saw the warnings, but we wanted to just fuck it. We figured we'd just use it until it was gone, and then at that point, we'll switch over to whatever the replacement is, being Microsoft Teams, which blows. So we're gonna jump ship. So yeah, if we sound a little different, low, or look a little different, by all means let us know, because we're always down for the feedback, so we can sound as clear as possible. But that being out of the way, we got quite a bit of news. I know we didn't get a chance to get to it because of our, issues. Primarily Sunday being Mother's Day, so we obviously weren't going to record on that day. But the Saturday before, there were some fights, so we're definitely going to talk about that. And since then, there have been more announcements, some as early as today, or even yesterday evening. So we're definitely going to talk about that. Everything from the results of the Navarrete and Suarez fight this past weekend, to more Crawford and Canelo news, even to Teofimo and his naughty potty mouth language that we will get to momentarily. But before we do that, Andrew, what's going on, dude? How was your Mother's Day?
Hey, how's it going, Miguel? Mother's Day was fine. Got to stay home with the kids. Let Christina. Christina took off with her mom. My mom doesn't do anything. She's a stay-at-home mom all the time. Yeah, she won't do nothing. But whatchamacallit, got to stay home with the kids. Christina went out with her mother, and they spent the whole day. So it was very cool, very relaxing. Kind of just let them do whatever they want. I go to sleep as long as nothing's on fire. You wake up maybe a half an hour. Hey, hey, hey.
When you say very relaxing, you're like, wife out of the house, everything's peaceful and quiet. That's what you're trying to say, but not without actually trying to say it. Uh,
Or without them, or I had a picture. Without the wife,
mm.
the kids got tater tots, hot dogs, chocolate milk, and then dessert was a cinnamon. That's
Oh,
what
cinema.
That's what Christina loves. So I bought those on the way home
Mm.
for Mother's. It wasn't Mother's Day. Saturday night, whatever. We went birthday party in Patterson.
Mm.
So at a truck stop everyone knows Patterson, California. They got a truck stop that has a cinnamon
Oh,
inside of it. Yeah,
all
it's
right.
awesome. It's fucking
Damn,
awesome.
I didn't know the Cinnabon was fucking mobile like that. Shit, I didn't know they had a truck. I mean, truck stop, I guess.
They're in the. It's a big one. It's one
Yeah.
of those where you could take the shower. You
Oh, I
can
see. Yeah,
probably
yeah,
get
yeah.
a
For
haircut. I
truckers,
think
like
during the day.
truckers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They got a full, not a restaurant, but a big deli like area. So they have that spot. So that
Mm.
was cool. So the kids got that. So
Th-
that was what dinner would be like if with no mom.
yeah. Did you get? Do you get like the cinnamon with, like, or the cinnamon rolls with the what is it, the cashews? Not cashews, walnuts, or what are they? Like, you know how they add like walnuts or something like that?
No, just regular no, just regular original.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. When
Yep.
when we were kids, and my dad was in charge of us, it was hot dogs, because he can boil the fucking Franks, right? He can just put the damn buns in the fucking little toaster oven, and it's chips. It's tortilla chips. It was Mission tortilla chips. If you guys go to your local grocery
I'm
store
so
and find Mission. Mm.
I'm so spoiled, Miguel. I had a YouTube air fryer, how to work the air fryer.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
It's not that hard. It
It's
wasn't
not that
hard.
hard. I had
Nah,
to teach my pops because
but that
sometimes, like, my dad goes to Tijuana, right, and he's over there by himself, and he has an air fryer, and he's like, "How do you put these fucking crinkle fries in the shit?" It's like, "All right, Dad, read the instructions." So he knows
I
how to
felt
he knows
like
how to use the
I
thing.
felt like I unlocked a new level in life. I'm like, oh yeah, ready to air fry some shit now.
It's like, what can we air fry? Can we think of some eggs in there? Can we put some fucking fried eggs in there? Like, no, no liquids, no liquids.
Next time I'm at the store, you know what I'm getting for all
Yeah.
these kids.
Your kids are gonna come home from school with see like flour in your face. You're like, I'm gonna make this dough, guys. I'm gonna pop it in the fucking air fryer, see if that works. We just got a new toaster oven because the other toaster oven caught fire twice. My dad was like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. I just tossed some water on it.
Hey, the
I was
fact
like,
that
"Yeah."
you tried again, I love
No, my pops did. My dad, he loves to put the shit, and the cheese or whatever drops to the bottom, and it's like, Dad, did you clean the bottom tray? It's like, oh fuck it, let's just get another one. Like, all right. So we went to Walmart, got ourselves like another 20 some odd dollar one, relatively inexpensive, but those are the few appliances that he knows how to use very well.
Do you go out like Tim Allen on
Yeah,
Home
like
Improvement?
more power. Like, we need a powerful.
He said, "I need a bigger power cord."
Yeah, yeah, and those big thick ass orange ones. To get the shit on there. So we had to toss that damn motherfucker out the way. So that's how our weekend went. We didn't burn the house on Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah, let's tell all the kids. Most of the time, you guys, when an appliance catches fire, we're gonna leave that motherfucker alone. We're gonna unplug it and we're gonna leave it alone. We're not trying again.
Yeah, don't try it again.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Yeah. You might have gotten lucky once. You might not get lucky a second time. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of not lucky, Mr. One Charlie Suarez this weekend. If you guys caught the ESPN card with Emmanuel El Vaquero Navarrete defending his WBO 130-pound championship. So there's been a lot of controversy on this. So let's go ahead and get into this because it was juicy. Me and my dad were at odds. We're like, no, it was this. No, it was that. So we were checking out the fight. For those of you who haven't watched ESPN this weekend or ESPN Plus, Navarrete defended his WBO 130-pound title. It was a great fight. The controversy actually started a day before, when he missed weight. Now, this is a championship fight, so that means he has to be on weight or below. He was barely, I think, half a pound or 0.3 over, or something super minimal, right?
Yes.
But if you see, Navarrete, he's never been a ripped guy. He's never been like super tight. He always had a little bit of a spare tire. He's always soft looking, right? He's strong as hell, but he's always not. He's never really looked that tight. So you can see it. The 3 pounds are there for him to lose, but his face looked dry as hell. He went out and pissed and sweated and whatever else he needed to do. He said in a post-fight interview that he damn near shaved his head, which has happened. He didn't have to go that far. On his second attempt, he made weight, and we had a fight. Cool, we got a fight. So right off the bat, Andrew, what was your first thought before we even get to the fight? The fact that he missed weight initially and then still decided to go after a second time.
Cut your hair. How about that?
Yeah.
I thought he was coming back bald. I was really shocked when he had that haircut still. With it only being 0.3, you go at any. I mean, he was literally breathing, trying to exhale on the scale. If we're going to that limit, why aren't we shaving? Right? So that's what I would have told them. Let's shave the head first off, then we'll try to lose whatever weight is left, if any. So that's shocked. No, man, because it was not that much. You know what I mean? Even if he couldn't find a way to lose the 0.3, I wouldn't have knocked him today over it, because that's an honest try. I don't think any sports. Sorry, guys. I don't think any sports doctor would have been all. It was the 0.3 that gave him the edge in the fight, right? So. It's definitely not 3 pounds.
Yeah,
Ryan.
yes, Mr. Ryan, Mr. Mayweather, who has done the same thing. So for those of you who may or may not remember, this actually happened once before. I attended a fight. I believe it was Sean Porter versus Yordenis Ugas, and Porter was heavy. They gave him a couple of hours. He came back, and he was still a little bit over. And you best believe that fucker was going to cut off his ponytail. He had like the dreadlocks kind of thing, or not dreadlocks, like cornrows, right? And he had a little bit of like a rat tail in the back. The time was running out. People were like, fuck it, let's just cut the hair, cut the hair. And they're like, all right. So everybody kind of panics looking at how they're going to cut the hair. Nobody has a pair of scissors. His dad has to make the announcement like, hey, anybody in the room, anybody have a pair of scissors? And sure enough, like one of the tech guys, the camera guys, like, oh yeah, we got one. So he like runs up, running with scissors in his hands, runs up to the stage to cut off the damn ponytail or the little rat tail that Porter had. Rather not that helped making weight. I mean, he did make weight, but I don't know if that's what it was, because I think he did what you said, Andrew, and he basically exhaled everything and he was on point. So, when desperate times call for desperate measures. I was expecting him to shave his mustache and shave his head. Didn't turn out that way. He decided to sweat out the last 0.3 pounds. So the fact that he actually went as far as trying it a second time and kind of depleting himself more, I thought, oh shit, you know what? He's probably not going to come into the fight 100% because he's going to be weak, right? And of course, Suarez had no problem making the weight himself. So that was that, right? It was like, whew, disaster was averted, right? One time, and then we come to the fight. So right off the bat, it looked like he wasn't weak at all. He looked like his normal Navarrete self, his normal vaquero, was throwing punches from different angles, and he was pretty in control of the fight. Yeah, it was a couple of times where Suarez was landing some of his own shots and basically throwing back. He looked like he had that spirit. He just like that spirited effort where Suarez was just not going to go down. He's like, dude, if you're gonna finish this, you're gonna take me out. So I had Navarrete comfortably ahead in the scorecards, and then it happened. I believe it was the sixth round. I believe early in the sixth round, there was a cut over Navarrete's left eyebrow, a little bit higher, a little bit not necessarily on the eyebrow, but a little bit higher. And at that moment, you can tell Navarrete pulled back, and he was kind of like kind of holding his head as if it was an accidental headbutt, which happens regularly. And the referee immediately called it a headbutt right there, right? I mean, that was like it. All right, cool. We saw the reaction. There was no protest from Charlie Suarez's side, so it wasn't like he thought, oh crap, no, it was a punch. Well, there was a lot of replays showing that it was kind of undecisive at that moment. It was difficult to tell. The fight continued. And it was obvious that the blood was starting to get into Navarrete's left eye. He kept wiping it with his glove. And although it didn't necessarily hinder his performance because he was still whooping ass, he was still landing some shots. At some point, the doctors came in and stopped it because that cut was just too bad. And it was a pretty nasty gash, and they were having a hard time, stopping that blood. So, of course, at the end of the day, because the cut, or the stoppage, I should say, occurred after 4 rounds were completed, we went to the scorecards. So on the scorecards, Navarrete was ahead, and he wins the fight comfortably, basically. Unfortunately, it ends up happening in that fashion, a little anticlimactic. But at the end of the day, he kept his belt because he was ahead on the scorecards. Now, that being said, replays left and right give us a little bit of a different story, didn't it? If you guys listen to everybody from Bernardo Osuna to Timothy Bradley, Bradley was pretty convinced that it was a punch. Now, I saw the replay many, many times over. I'm of the opinion that, yeah, I think it actually was a punch. The headbutt didn't seem too bad. It seemed more of a rub. When they did clash heads, it seemed as though it was Navarrete's ear that got hit, and then it kind of rubbed against his forehead. Andrew, what did you see? Did you think initially that it was a headbutt, or did you know right off the bat it was a punch?
I knew there was both, right?
Okay. All right.
Look, first off, I'm going to start off with saying I didn't think this fight was that close going into the headbutt punch combo. I thought Navarrete was clearly winning this fight. I thought he was hurting Suarez. I thought this was going to be an easy victory for Navarrete. Looked like you said, typical Navarrete fight. A lot of flaws, but the guy just has the will, right? The power, the will, and just brings it. So yeah, I seen them both, Miguel. They both landed, but I don't see any blood on the punch. I don't see a reaction on the punch. But I do see it after the headbutt. And, we can say that it was glancing, but we still need to keep in perspective that it's bone versus bone, right? So even a glancing blow could pop some skin if they were hit at the right angle, at the right force. It's padding, to me, is a lot safer to be hitting your eye than another head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because I didn't see any blood or reaction during the punch, and it sucks, you guys. In life, sometimes life just sucks, and that's what Suarez is finding out right now. As I look on BoxRec right now, he still has a defeat on his record. I know the internet's saying that it's been changed or it's going to be changed. We've heard the boxing internet say a lot. What was the other day? Tank Davis and Frank, wasn't that supposed to be changed to a knockdown? Right? Never happened.
And Lamont Roach, you mean? You talking about
Lamont Roach?
Oh,
there you go.
gotcha.
Yeah, I said the other guy, Frank Martin. It was Lamont Roach. My bad. Yeah, but nothing changed. So as we look right now on BoxRec, nothing has changed for this. I don't think it should. I think you got to go with what the ref's seen because the video backs up the ref. You can't break down an angle and tell me you see even a drop of blood, Miguel. Just give us something. And I mean, everyone who's seen this replay over and over and over again, there's nothing until the head moves away. Then you see a drip, and it's a drip, dude. It's not, that punch had already landed you would think you would see the blood maybe a little bit more if it was from the punch. So I'm going with the victory for Navarrete. Suarez, I hate these type of endings because you almost always need a rematch, right? What I don't like about this is I didn't think that fight was that close to grant him a rematch, another payday, another shot at the title. Navarrete, if he's struggling to make 130, should be able to just leave the division. No one should give him any slack or whatever for not taking on Suarez again. I thought he gave an honest effort to make it. If him and his camp know that it's time to move up, don't give this guy a rematch because you just don't want anything to go. You don't want to. He's got a lot of momentum right now, Navarrete, and he got by this fight. Maybe the punch cut him, maybe the headbutt did. Who knows? But the evidence and the referee are citing that it was the headbutt. So just roll with that and move on with your career. Especially if the commission doesn't bring it back to a no contest. Now, if they do the no contest thing, that'll be up to Navarrete if he wants to. It's all about making that weight, though, now, Miguel, because I hate when fighters lose on the scale, right? Everything was fine, and they just tried too hard. Lopez might be a victim of that. Teofimo Lopez might be a victim of losing on the scale. That's why we got that Cambosos defeat, So yeah, that sucks. But it was a good fight. The kid was fighting his butt off. He was getting hurt too much. He was taking too many shots. I thought Navarrete was winning that fight clearly. Nothing wouldn't make me stay home to watch a rematch.
Yeah, and more often than not, when stuff like this happens, usually the champion or the guy who was expected to win the first time ends up mopping the floor with his opponent in the rematch. Usually that happens. Every so often does it go the other way around, but more often than not, we get the champion winning again. And if when they end up rematching, there's a pretty good chance that we might. I mean, considering taking his weight out of the consideration for a moment, chances are that we're going to see probably more of a one-sided ass whooping if these guys fight again, because I don't really see what Suarez can do differently in a rematch. He was getting beat bad, he got hurt to the body, got hurt upstairs, and he didn't seem to have an answer for Navarrete. And the only question was the weight, because you don't. Navarrete's kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place. If the commission decides, hey, you know what, this weird finish to the fight warrants a rematch and we're going to have it, he's going to have to make 130 again. Now, he also has tried 135 already and it didn't go his way. He had to move back down because of that most recent loss where I forgot the guy's name, Denis Baranchik, lost to that guy. So going to 135, I don't know if that's, maybe it is his best interest to stay at 130. Maybe because, I mean, like I said, you ever see him, he's not a ripped guy. He's not thin. So
Right.
he's got, a couple of pounds to lose where he should be able to make 130 comfortably. We've heard him say many times before that he doesn't really take care of his diet. He just kind of like makes sure he doesn't overdo it, but he pretty much eats whatever the fuck he wants to eat, and he makes weight, not comfortably, but he makes the weight. I've heard him say that a few times. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I just for the sake of Suarez being 36, I think it is. It would be great if he gets another crack at it because he might actually get a better chance this time, especially if Navarrete is having a hard time with that weight and he comes back with more hunger. Like, no, they won't take it away from me this time, and Navarrete is drained. He might have a better shot in a rematch. If Navarrete had the choice, yeah, I would say just go ahead and pass. Fucking be like, hell, even give him the belt. Be like, here you go, take the fucking belt. I don't give a fuck. I'm moving up to 135 at this point. Call it a day. I'm not moving back to 130. So, kind of a anticlimactic finish. I mean, it wasn't like we thought that there was any real chance of Navarrete losing besides that punch being, or besides that cut being called a punch. It was sort of like what was it Tyson Fury and Otto Wallin, that cut, it was that left hook that at that point was considered a cut, like a punch, a legitimate punch. And because of that, there was a lot more danger of Fury losing his title because that punch or the cut was considered a punch. This one, I'm not sure. To go back to what you were saying, when he landed the punch, the headbutt came immediately after, so there wasn't really a chance to see if there was blood immediately after the punch.
That's true.
They zoomed in a lot, and it looked, I mean, it didn't look like it was blood, but it looked red, like kind of like the inside of your skin. It looked like it did one of these thingies. Too hard to tell anyway because of how blurry it was. They really did like 40 times zoom and try to get it in there. I don't know if what we've read online is legit or not as far as the fight being considered a no contest. If that's the case, I don't know if the athletic commission is going to try to force a rematch.
I mean, Miguel,
yeah,
we've seen this in the NFL, right? There's fumbles that happen that the camera cannot give a good angle on, and they have to go with what was called on the field. Like,
yeah.
everybody knows he wasn't down, but every angle they have, or at least what they're giving the public, that guy's leg is blocking it. There's a dog pile. You really can't see where his knee goes down. He's clearly high. You can tell that running back is still up, but because they can't see his knee, we got to go with what the ref said on the field. So we've seen that in sports. I think that's, it's when you said the headbutt happens immediately after and you don't get to see. That's what I was talking about. Life just sucks sometimes, and Suarez is getting a piece of that right now. He's probably going to go to his deathbed telling his grandkids that he knows that his punch cut that man. You know what I'm saying? But it's just something that we'll never be able to prove. And so, yeah, like I said, if they switch it to a no contest, maybe. But if they don't, if they keep it how it is, I would say Navarrete just move on. Yeah, that's a good, interesting point you brought up about the 135. He did look like a tire when he went up there, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So he can't have that shape of a body, especially with bad eating habits. And then you allow him to put 5 more pounds on. His eating habits just went, just got a lot worse, right? It's more bad habits. Navarrete is going to learn real fast what boxing is at an older age when you're on the decline, right? Because a lot of these older fighters that never gave a damn about their diets, they do get out of their prime pretty quick in their 30s. They just burn out, and it's from years of abuse on your body and not taking care of it. And, Navarrete definitely sounds like a guy who doesn't put a lot into his diet and staying healthy during when he's in between fights. So he's close to 30. Is he close to how old? Oh,
good question. I have no idea. Let's figure this out real quick.
Because that's going to determine a lot about how much he has left. I don't really.
Yeah, he turned 30 in January.
Yeah. So I don't really like hearing about the bad diet thing right now. Yeah. Right now, people, it's time for an upset in one of these next few fights coming up because he's in his 30s now. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Oh man.
Yeah, in boxing terms,
Right.
he's hitting the wall. He's approaching the wall real fast. He gave 135 a shot before. If he decides to go at it one more time, and try 135, we're talking about guys like Gervonta Davis, like Cepeda, like Shakur, like Keyshawn Davis. Those guys are animals. If somebody like Denise Berencheck, who lost his title to Davis, Keyshawn Davis. If he lost to Davis, I mean, I'm not sure how much of a chance, of a legitimate chance, Navarrete has at really becoming another champion, or and doing anything at lightweight really. He's that close to being okay with 130. It's just like keep it, and I don't even know really if his diet is bad per se. I mean, it looks like it, but he just says he doesn't really pay attention to it. Like he never tries to diet necessarily. So it just he works out regularly and stays relatively thin. So I guess I shouldn't say he has a terrible diet. He just doesn't really pay attention to it. He's just like, whatever, I'll just eat whatever. Now, whether or not that means churros and
Carbs.
Coke for fucking dinner,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
about that, but I clearly he doesn't really try to pay attention to what he's eating, because point three, and he damn near made, and then he sweated off the rest. Like you can see it, it's in his belly. If he had just a little more fucking discipline with his diet, I'm sure he'd have an easier time making 130, and he wouldn't have to drain himself so much. But with all those guys at 135, I don't know if that would be to his benefit, because on the undercard of that, the co-main event, Raymond Morataya won the interim IBF lightweight title. That was, maybe, hey, was some sort of what's the word, like self promotion. It's like, all right, we have Morataya at 135 here, potential opponent for Navarrete, maybe when Navarrete moves up to 135. This is kind of a two-part story, because Morataya wins. He defeats relatively easily his opponent here, if I can get his name right, Zawar Abdullayev. It was a one-sided victory. It was damn good. I mean, yeah, there was nothing necessarily flashy where you saw like, oh my gosh, Morataya is this fucking whirlwind and he's going to come in and, take the division by storm. I'm not saying that, but he was very sound. He came in and did what he needed to do. What's the term? Very workmanlike, right? He came in and did what he needed to do, and he got himself the IBF interim lightweight title. The second part of the story is the actual champion is Vasily Lomachenko. Whether or not he's going to be coming back or not, I've heard many, many things over the last few days. One in particular, which I'm going to pull up here real quick. I believe it was, if I can take a quick, Carl Moretti of Top Rank says he's not entirely sure if Lomachenko is going to come back. Let me read this here real quick. Top Rank executive Carl Moretti tells Ring he's unsure if Lomachenko will fight again. The IBF previously told Ring, the Ring magazine, that Lomachenko has until October 8th, good Lord, to make a defense of his lightweight title, and the sanctioning body is set to order him to fight the winner of Morataya and Abdullayev, which ended up being Morataya, on August 8th if he still remains uncommitted. So it seems as though he's going to have to defend the belt no later than August 8th if he decides to keep the belt, Lomachenko, I'm saying. So if it turns out Lomachenko doesn't come back and he just hands over that IBF belt, it kind of sucks. I hate when champions become that way, right? We talk about it all the time. They wake up the next morning to that email saying, hey, the champ vacated the belt. You were the interim champ. Now you're the legitimate champion. You're like, fuck, really? I didn't even have to take it from the man. I didn't take it from, the dude who was the actual champ. It kind of sucks to become champion that way. And Muratai himself did say that in the ring after the fight. Says he doesn't want to be one of those kind of paper champions. So I can see his what's the word, his point of view there. Let's say, for the sake of argument, Lomachenko comes back at the age that he's at. What kind of chances are we looking at as far as like how good he's going to do against somebody like Morataya? Did you watch the co-main event?
Yeah, yes, and Morataya looked good. He always does. One of those fighters you hope Top Rank is going to get him a title shot here soon, and he doesn't turn into like another who is he on, Barbosa? You know what I mean? Now I know Murataya is a lot younger. He's only 28. It just sure does seem like he's been ready for a while now. He's been at least 2 or 3 fights. It looks like they could have paid probably since Tevin Farmer. Really, he beat Tevin Farmer. They probably should have moved him up to the next level at that point. Now, obviously, he got a little title today, but these interim titles, what are they really? It's really just a ranking, right? So he's not a champion of anything. He just got a higher ranking. him and Lomachenko. Look, he's 28 years old. If he's the real deal, he's gonna beat Lomachenko. Lomachenko is on his way out. Lomachenko has mentioned retirement so much, it's not even a flex to beat him. Right? That's how that's gonna get played out. Whoever, like, imagine if it was Tank, the haters would just go, man, the dude talked about retiring for over a year. It's been a year, you know. He was supposed to give us that announcement if he was gonna stay or go, I think months ago. You know, we're still talking about it. So Lomachenko has had one foot out the door for a while. I think he was looking for a payday. I don't think TBC was in the right position to grant him that payday because Tank makes so much money. There's only so much money in the pot for featherweights. Lightweights, excuse me, for lightweights. So they had to move on. With that being said, I don't know if Top Rank has the money to overpay Lomachenko to give him that weak ass defeat on the way out, right? Because sometimes back in the day, that's what you had to do to these guys, these older veterans. When they passed the torch, they got overpaid one last time. Lomachenko seems like he's in a perfect position to get that from Raymond. And if Top Rank was legit about their future and they actually thought this 28-year-old kid was the future, then they would make the move. Give him the $5 million. We'll move forward and get the belt from him, and then that's it. You're now the face of the Top Rank. I won't say boxing, but Top Rank. Unfortunately, Top Rank hasn't done that in a while for their guys. They haven't overpaid anybody. No. They actually are underpaying so much, dudes are leaving the company. So I look for Raymond Murataya. Murataya. I look for him to have the same outcome as the other guys.
All right, same path. It's just
same path. Yeah, the big fight will not come. The Lomachenko fight will not come, and he will probably be looking for a new promoter once his deal is up. I don't know. It's been a while. Top Rank. It's been a while. They really do seem like as a promotional company, they do have one foot out the door themselves.
Yeah, it seems as though they're becoming the feeder promotion. Basically, it's like they can't afford to keep the talent that they're developing. They just signed these new guys, young talent Olympians, and then they get to a point where they're like, "Hey, either you fucking pay me or I'm out of here." And it's like, "All right, well, bye." So
Lomachenko and Bob are just talking about retirement. Everyone else in Top Rank's like, "Hey, you guys even working anymore?" They're like, what are you gonna do?
Like, are you guys in this conference call? It's like, oh, sorry, I was in mute. What's up? What's going on? I wasn't paying attention. Like, thank you, Mr. Aram. But wait, what about if Navarrete moves up to 135? Would that be worth sticking around? I guess Murataya and fucking Navarrete. I mean, that would be some names, some name recognition with Vaquero. I don't know if that's the kind of fight that Murataya is looking for necessarily, but if we're talking about in the same promotional company, that's an easy one to make, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an easy one to make as long as there's money in the pot, right? Without Rihad backing up this fight with free money, basically, can Top Rank produce enough for both guys? And so that I don't know. Because they won't have a platform, most likely, right?
Yeah, later this summer, it seems like they're going to be off of ESPN.
They're going to be off ESPN. It's not pay-per-view ready, so it matters if Turki Ali Sheik wants to put it on one of his master cards, his big cards, and overpays basically. I hope you got the pay scale of the last event. Turki Ali's pay scale.
The one for the this Fatal Fury, whatever.
Yeah, for Canelo, what Canelo made, what Ryan Garcia, all them made. So they need to get on a card like that, right? where even the bottom guy was getting 2 million. Well, no, I feel sorry for Lopez, bro. What the fuck's going on with the Lopez payout, bro?
I'm pulling it up here, but I didn't even take a fucking screenshot of it. But was that the lowest one? Was Lopez the lowest one?
Yeah, dude, but it's not even a million, Miguel.
No.
Like everyone else
What?
got
The Lopez one wasn't $1 million? No shit. Wow, I
no,
must have really not fucking paid attention to that. Damn.
no. They only gave him $900,000, and I thought, what a shot to Lopez is walking around with the best resume. He's a two-time. When you guys don't underestimate marketability in boxing, right? If you don't have no market, man, it really don't mean shit what you do in that ring. You need to have a market behind you to make some money. Lopez has everything. What he has, one defeat? How many titles do he have? Maybe 4 or 5 titles, 2 divisions, beating the lineal champion twice in 2 divisions, and he's making 900,000. Ryan,
Wait. Hold on. Oh wait, this is the one that I have here is the estimated one. Wait, this can't be right. This one says he got 10 mil. What the fuck? Which one?
no, that's not. No, not Lopez.
Am I looking at the wrong fucking one here? What the fuck? That's the one that pulled up when I pulled it up on the conversation that we're having. Which one did you see? Did you see it on Facebook or did you see it on?
I don't know. I probably sent it to you, but
Let me see.
Canelo made like 80 million. Ryan made 20 million.
Yeah. So
see all those?
No, this is I have it here. It's actually on Pheno Boxing. Canelo got 80. Ryan got 20. Devin and Telfimo got 10, according to this at least. Raleigh got 5.5. Skull got 5. Jose Ramirez got 3. Barbosa got 3. And then Naoya Inoue got 2. And then Cardenas got 250K. But are you sure? Where did you see that? Where the hell did you see that number?
I sent it to you. I'm gonna look for it now. Yeah, I had to have, because I was like, what the hell? It was a what the hell moment for fucking Lopez, bro. Like, how does he get under $1 million?
Yeah, that's some fish shit. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I thought that's the reason he even fucking fought on the card is because they were actually giving him a big chunk of change. Damn, I don't know. That's a good one. I'm not even sure.
Well, we slowed up the show on that one, but so yeah, that's what they need to do. They need to get that fight on a card that's actually getting overpaid, because I think without it, there's nothing there. There's not a sale. I don't know how Navarrete does in Mexico. If he's like who's the young man at the 154, Munguia. Munguia seems to pack a house. Whenever he fights at home. I don't know if Navarrete can go over there and sell out an arena and bring a undefeated American kid and see if they can make some money. But in Las Vegas, I mean, the casinos. I've been noticing the casinos are buying these fights again. Now, I don't know what the deals are. I'm not out there. I don't know if they're actually fronting the money, like giving them $2 million, $3 million to get the fight at the casino. Or is it just a new after COVID deal where you're renting out the arena basically again? You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no guaranteed money from the casino itself. But I seen the Fontainebleau throw one. Who else threw one? The Hard Rock or something threw one the other day.
Damn, I don't remember which one.
Where was Inoue at?
Oh, that was T-Mobile.
It was T-Mobile.
It was T-Mobile, and later this month, I'm gonna try to put in for credentials for that one. But the double header with Plant and Charlo fighting, co-main event and main event, that's gonna be at the Mandalay Bay or the Michelob Ultra Arena, they call it now, but it's basically Mandalay Bay. So that one's gonna be there as far as I can remember, and that's gonna be at the end of May.
No, Las Vegas. I know I'm always drilling Vegas. They really need to get back into the boxing scene on that part. I think they're missing. They have to be. MGM has to be missing the 20,000 people that used to be in their casino for these fights, and they really got away with that. For some reason, they were sending it all to T-Mobile, and there's really, from what I'm always told, is there's really no entry right back into the MGM, right? You got to exit T-Mobile, find your way back into the casinos.
Right. So T-Mobile is, if you guys are familiar at all, the MGM Grand is on this side of the strip. Like, I guess if we're looking at it this way, it's going to be basically on the east side. On the west side, crossing the street, you actually have to cross Las Vegas Boulevard, is the New York. And then behind that is T-Mobile. So T-Mobile, when you exit T-Mobile, there's a couple of casinos nearby. One of them being the New York, New York, and then one is a property of the MGM called Park at MGM. It used to be called the Monte Carlo, but it's no longer that. Now
Oh, wow.
it's Park at MGM, and that's, as a matter of fact, I went to a concert at T-Mobile, and there's where we parked. Well, we didn't park there, but we ate dinner afterwards, I should say. But anyway, those are the two nearby casinos where people mostly go to. So to get back to the MGM Grand, they have to cross the street or cross that bridge, because there's a sky bridge that puts them over Las Vegas Boulevard. But it's a trek. It really is a trek, and there's a lot of people that stay at New York, New York. So after there's a concert or a fight, it's fucking packed in there, and they basically use the parking garage of the New York, New York for T-Mobile. So yeah, for them to get back to, like, let's say the MGM Grand, it's a little bit of a trek. They got to cross the street.
Yeah, so back 10, 15 years ago, Navarrete might have worked in Las Vegas. Vegas would have gave up some guaranteed money to get that fight there, because they know they could pack the house with two good Mexican fighters. Murataya. He is Mexican, yes?
I believe so. I mean, I want to say he's with Robert Garcia, if I'm not mistaken.
Right,
so
yeah,
I'm almost certain he's Latino.
So good fan base. They would have bought that fight, and then Top Rank would have made whatever they do on the TV side. So 15 years ago, that fight's a go as a main event on its own. After COVID, in today's world where a lot of this stuff looks like it's pay-per-view only, is what's pushing these numbers or making these numbers go up. It's not ticket sales. You know what I'm saying? Don't know if their pay-per-view would bring them in enough money. And even that might not even sound right. Pay-per-view just isn't doing shit, right? So you need ticket sales. I don't know if these guys sell tickets like that to pack a house, but if Vegas brought the guaranteed money, then they wouldn't have to worry about that, right? If casino gave them guaranteed money for their fight. So that's where I'm at with that one. If not, I think Navarrete, with his chubby body, should probably really start looking about the biggest fights he can get himself into. And if that's unifying that title or moving up and trying to take on, someone at 135 that would put him in a pay-per-view fight, that's where I'm looking at if I'm Navarrete. If I'm Team Navarrete, I'm not looking for the long run anymore. Now we need to talk like the 3-year plan, because a lot of fighters with his type of lifestyle, and basically we're not saying that he's a drug user, but he doesn't, like you say, pay attention, right? He just goes with the flow. They're usually checking out around 33 years old as far as prime boxers. So.
Yeah. Because it really erodes their skills. It erodes them. It's like they start having it starts becoming more of a battle at the scale than it does in the fight. And
your birthday just passed, right?
Yeah, back in March.
Oh, it was in March.
Yeah,
March. You're amazing. All right.
Not March.
We're getting older, right?
Sure.
It's not the same, dude. It's not the same. Has your eyes gone yet?
No, and I think they're gonna, though, because I have a super early schedule at work, bro, and like my ass gets to get up at 4:30 a.m. and I go to bed at like fucking 10, dude. So I wake up and I've like, and then of course my screen from my work monitor is bright as shit. So I'm like, damn, I'm trying to log in. I think I'm doing much worse, and they haven't gone yet. My sisters and my brother-in-laws, they're in their early 40s, 43, 44, and they're starting to use glasses now. But thankfully, mine haven't yet.
I'm 45, and I'm a little bit nervous about this next eye test that I have to take. It does seem like shit is getting blurry nowadays. They just gotta what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like a camera, dude. I'm like, do I have to refocus? The fuck is going on right now? It's bad. So I am a little bit. I always test myself, try to look off in the distance. All right, I can still see that sign. I can read that. What the hell? But
I'm still doing that. But though I do find myself zooming in on shit that I'm supposed to zoom in. And oh, this doesn't zoom in. What the fuck am I doing? I'm over here trying to do this. It's oh, it's not doing that. What the fuck? It doesn't work that way. But yes, that I can guarantee you, Navarrete's feeling it. I'm sure he's feeling it. If he could just add a little bit more discipline to that, because he's getting there. I mean, he's gonna have to cash out soon. Maybe the winner of Cepeda and Shakur. Possibly, they can do something big. That'll be pretty big enough, big enough for it to get at least a small pay-per-view card. Maybe not be Pack T-Mobile or anything like that, but it'll do something, some big numbers on the way.
No, hey, listen to me. If Cepeda doesn't become a superstar with beating Shakur, nothing's gonna make him a superstar. Mexico used to be And they still are. I'm not knocking their fans at all. They're very knowledgeable. If Cepeda beats Shakur, he's the real deal. He's the man. Navarrete moving and fighting him would be freaking Civil War time. Like if
Oh
you're a
yeah,
Navarrete, if you're a Navarrete fan, and then Cepeda's fans would be on top of the world, right? They'd be like, "We run this shit." It'd be on. There'd be a little bit if it's gonna be on.
yeah, yes. It won't quite be like Morales, but it'll be close. It'll be like, oh, so don't get close to me at the fucking press conference. It'll be close. But that I'm glad you actually talked about Vegas and the bringing back fights, because the next story involves a potential fight here in Las Vegas. It has been reported / said by one Turkey Al Sheikh that the date has been officially announced. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford for the super middleweight championship of the world will definitely take place on Saturday, September 13th. And this is reported by Mike Coppinger. Now, it was originally reported, or at least maybe again they were talking about internet shit, talked about that the fight was going to be on Netflix. It was going to land on Netflix. Now, one of the previous articles that we've read said that after the success of Serrano and Katie Taylor, that that's one of the reasons why there was even debated or possibly as on the table going to Netflix or Canelo and Crawford possibly landing on Netflix because of the success of Taylor and Serrano. However, Taylor and Serrano was not on pay-per-view as far as I can remember. I believe it was just for free, right? I don't think it was on pay-per-view. But according to what Mike Coppinger is saying, he's calling this a pay-per-view event. So he says the Riyadh season pay-per-view event could land in 5 potential locations across the U.S. So either New York City, Los Angeles, Vegas, or 2 other towns, because it's talking about 5 cities overall. It sucks that it isn't definitively Vegas, because we have heard that it was supposed to be Allegiant Stadium or Raider Stadium, whatever you want to call it, here in Las Vegas. So we're like, okay, cool. That's going to be a pretty big deal. It's going to look like that BMI, or I forget the name of that stadium where Majima fought Crawford. It was going to look like that. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, they're going to bring it back to Vegas. Cool. Well, now it might not even fucking be Vegas. It might be LA or New York City. Now, when I think New York City, I'm thinking Madison Square Garden, right? I have to assume. I don't think they would go to Brooklyn for Barclays Center. Chances are it'll be Madison Square Garden. One of the other towns, Los Angeles, Staples Center. I mean, where else would they go there? I mean, I'm trying to think of other places that would be humongous. I'm sure there are other ones. I'm not saying there aren't. SoFi Stadium, I think, is over there, I believe. But anyway, in Inglewood. Any one of those, but I mean, they wouldn't be as big as Allegiant Stadium, huh?
It is something that we talk about. I don't know how much you can trust the word of these guys at the Ring magazine. I don't want to say Turkey himself.
Well, it's kind of because he owns them. It's kind of like we're hearing it from the horse's mouth, no?
Yeah, they're always switching plans on us, switching pay-per-view dates. They're switching pay-per-view numbers. Yes, dude, I thought this thing was already sold. It's going to be at Allegiant Stadium in September. I thought it was already written down, right? Everybody, that's why I hate the internet, and they're doing a great job of making us just more and more can't believe anything we're reading on this fucking thing anymore. It really is. I don't know if one guy's seen it and just runs with it, but how is it you could get so many fight posters that says Canelo versus Crawford at Allegiant Stadium, and then we get this announcement. They don't even know what city it's going to be in, basically. The biggest venue, I don't know if that's the best idea. I'm not 100% sold that Terence Crawford is going to have 15,000 fans show up. And that's kind of what you need to pack a football stadium. Canelo's going to bring a few. We've seen him fight in Texas, Dallas, right? 60,000. 40,000. I want to say were the ballpark numbers that he was bringing in.
AT&T Stadium.
AT&T, yeah. I think he broke De La Hoya. De La Hoya had like 47,000 with what was the guy's name? Charpentier.
Carpentier or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not 100,000, and you would think if they wanted to take it to a football stadium, most of these football stadiums are 70,000 plus. That Crawford, because you got the field too, right? This is not
Yeah.
just the stadium now. Now you have the
Yeah.
field too. So I, Crawford, I'm Crawford's markability is good as far as on through the big money. I
Mhm.
think all the athletes will be there, all the movie stars will be there. He does good on that side in this moment right now where he's at. A lot of the PBC big timers all know who Crawford is. They'll all be there. You know what I'm saying? The
Mm.
PBC fan base. So he has those numbers. I don't know if what is it, Ohio, Nebraska?
Oh, where he's from? Omaha, Nebraska? Where, yeah.
Omaha, Nebraska. I don't
Yeah.
know if they're gonna be there. I don't know if they have the
Mm.
$500 to sit nosebleed, right?
Mm.
$400 to sit nosebleed. They might have the pay-per-view money, but I don't know if they'll be there live. So that's why I don't want it to go to that big of a venue. I'd rather them go to a smaller baseball venue. I know it's in September. I don't know if New York can do a September, but do a baseball venue, 40,000, and then you jack up the ticket prices. Because look, I don't know if you guys ever seen these 70,000 seat venues, but you can't really see too fucking much, Miguel.
No. Yeah.
You're really looking off a TV. And
Mhm.
sometimes if you're behind the motherfucker, the right-handers are now southpaw. You're looking at it backwards. You're not
Yeah.
even getting a great shot of the damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I've seen it myself where I've had to sit behind
same.
one of those projection screens. So I'm sitting behind it. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm seeing everything in reverse. That shit sucks. I'm like, God damn. And most recently, WrestleMania came to Allegiant Stadium and people were recording and it's like, this is what I paid for? Like, $800 for 2 nights for this shit. It's like, dude, hell no. Who wants to do that? That's not a bad idea. I think maybe a smaller venue would work.
Yeah, no, and a baseball venue, the way the ring would look a lot bigger,
Mm.
I would try try San Francisco or New York, go to one of the epic ones, you know what I mean, and see how that does. I always thought Top Rank, I know I say this a lot, but I thought Top Rank missed it with Donaire. I thought Donaire could have packed um AT&T Park at one point in his career.
Mm.
The Filipinos, we got a big Filipino. My wife's half Filipino. We have a big Filipino based South City, I think being the biggest, right, in the country of Filipinos here. And he was pretty big at that moment with Pacquiao. Remember there was moments where him and Pacquiao were talking about fighting each other. I know it was kind of dumb because they were so far away,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they knew what kind of money it would probably generate. You know what I mean? So, I thought Top Rank really missed the boat with that one. With that being said, yeah, bring Canelo versus Crawford, baseball stadium. Let's just put it out. Hey, you know what, Miguel? You got fucking Chavez versus Jake Paul the other day, right? We got that one out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's throw out there the baseball stadium. Lower the numbers, 47, 50,000, maybe 55,000. Because I know some parks are like 40, let's say 45 to 50, 47,000 are their capacity. You can probably look it up, but that's what most baseball parks are. And then you add the seats on the floor. Oh, that'd be bad. It'd be a badass stadium. It'd be loud too. You get the right fan base. Baseball don't get as loud as boxing. Can you imagine what a smaller arena would sound like or stadium?
But the fact that it's open, it'll like the sound escapes. No, it doesn't really.
Oh no, it don't.
Insane.
No, because it goes down to the field. The way they build
Oh,
those
I see.
things, yeah, that sounds supposed.
Wow.
No, man, the Raiders. You could hear I could hear the Raider games, not from A Street in Hayward, but from San Leandro, which was a city away from Oakland. You could actually hear the Raider game when you stood in the front yard. Yeah, you could still
Damn.
hear the cheering. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, there's a lot. It's 72,000 people screaming at one time, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, it actually, the echo, I believe it's the way they engineer those stadiums, how they build it, that the sound actually goes down, it's loud.
So, all right. So we're not talking about MSG, even though it's like the mecca of boxing, right? Because they did mention New York City being one of the potentials. So either Los Angeles, maybe, I don't know, one of the stadiums over there where either the Angels play or something
SoFi.
like that.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the SoFi one. That
All
was
right.
a good one.
And then either here Vegas, at Allegiant Stadium. But as you mentioned, a smaller venue. This is what Oscar De La Hoya had to say about this, because you talked about it. You don't know if it'll fill up a fucking humongous ass venue. He says, so hear me out. Crawford will be 38 and Canelo is 35. Crawford hasn't fought in a year and got exposed by Madrimov, in his opinion. Canelo has been getting exposed for the past few years. Can anyone please explain to me how this is the quote unquote biggest fight in boxing? So somebody's a little butthurt that he's not
Yeah.
involved in what could potentially be, the biggest fight in boxing, at least um, this side of what Canelo Mayweather or Pacquiao Mayweather maybe. Since then, this is probably the next biggest one that they can possibly do. He's of the opinion that it's not the biggest fight, but he might be right to some degree because we are saying, hey, we're not gonna don't fill up no fucking 70,000 foot or seat arena or stadium like Allegiant. Go somewhere a little bit smaller. They can probably do that. Not necessarily MGM Mandalay Bay type thing, but a little bit bigger, like you said, a stadium. So to some degree, he might actually be right. It's like, hold on, it's not going to sell that many seats that people fucking think they're going to sell. Going to a smaller venue might make sense. Just not no fucking MGM that's going to have like 17,000 people or some shit on that. So.
For the rich that like going to boxing events, like going to Vegas or wherever the fights are being held, rich people can kind of do what they want, right?
Yeah.
The guys that like to party, the girls that like to party at these boxing events, they will be there. I don't think they're going to have any problem selling out the first few rows or the first level. It's when you're asking 700, 500 for those nosebleeds. That's where the shit starts. That's where you got fans going, really? Even me, I don't do that kind of stuff. I would never spend over 200, maybe 250 for a nosebleed. It matters the fight, because sometimes it's just the moment, right?
Sure.
But no, I would never. Oh, me and my wife, 1,700 to sit in the last fucking row. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're a hoe to the industry at that point.
I've done it on the occasion, but it's been special occasions, like my birthday, a fight in town. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what seat I get. I just do it. But to say that I would do that like regularly or something like that, or because I mean, I'm going really more so for the event, for the atmosphere, not even so much so I can see the damn thing. Because it was a T-Mobile and they have a big screen, so I was basically watching it on the fucking big screen, but in person there. But all right, so. If you had your choice, I mean, they haven't really selected. They said between 5 cities, but they only listed 3: LA, New York, or Vegas. If you had your choice, would you prefer? I mean, we talked about having fights coming to Vegas, but which do you think would be best for the fight as far as selling as many tickets? New York, LA, or Vegas?
I'm from the 80s or the 90s, right? Because the 80s, I'm still a little boy. I'm from the 90s, right? Watching boxing. All big fights happen in Vegas. I know New York was the Mecca back in all these days, but it's just not the Mecca for me. It's like the old Mecca, right? That's like where you go where the old timers went.
Yeah.
Las Vegas is where the hitters are. That's where the party's at. That's where all those guys that are sitting front row, they don't want to be in Dallas. They don't want to be in freaking even LA's. Nah. It's not Vegas. You know what I mean? It's not the casinos, man. It's not the entertainment that Vegas brings. Yeah, you got the club scene and all that. But definitely not Las Vegas. I think that's where the fight should be. I'm a Vegas guy, so I'm gonna say put that thing in Las Vegas.
All right.
With that being said,
yes.
What's the biggest stadium there?
Well, it has to be Allegiant. I mean, that's as far as stadium is the only one.
But I don't want to go that big.
We don't have that baseball one yet with the Athletics. We're not going to have that yet. Thomas and Mack, Mandalay Bay, MGM Grand, T-Mobile. I think those are it. I mean, unless I'm forgetting one, but I think those are it.
That sucks. Well, that sucks for them. Yeah, because you just take it back old school and go. But I know they won't. They're going to try to go to the maximum what they can. So we'll see.
So the fight, again, we've read that it was going to be on Netflix. When they mentioned comparisons to Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, I was under the impression that it was going to be free on Netflix. Okay, fuck it. I go, all right, we're going to get Canelo for free on Netflix. Cool. We're going to break the fucking Netflix because that's what, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson did. But according to what it sounds like, at least Mike Coppinger is calling it he kind of, says it in passing. He doesn't specify that's that, but he says this pay-per-view event will be, held between these 5 cities. So right off the bat, they're talking about pay-per-view. So we're getting already conflicting stories. Either the shit's on fucking Netflix or is pay-per-view, or does Netflix throw a pay-per-view? Like, are they going to offer some sort of pay-per-view? kind of sucks out. Like we don't get. I mean, I know we're several months still away from it, but I mean, it would be pretty badass if we got to see Canelo and Crawford for free on Netflix.
It would have been. What I don't remember is if I paid for Tyson and Jake Paul.
No,
And
I mean, it wasn't on any sort of pay per view. It was straight up like if you had a Netflix subscription, you got that fight for free.
And then it started messing up, huh?
Yeah,
Netflix started. All right, I do remember that. I do remember that. That's the part I need to remember. Okay, so that one was for free. This one they're saying might not be. Why would Netflix want to get involved with the fight if it wasn't going to help their streaming? The only thing I can think of is promoting the fight. Maybe a 24/7 goes on Netflix. That would do a lot of numbers. You know, I could only imagine what their streaming would be for Crawford Canelo, the weigh-ins, the week leading up, you know, all that stuff, press conferences. Maybe they're going to stream all that on Netflix, and then the night of the fight, you go to pay-per-view. Look, I'm not mad about the pay-per-view. These are the two best fighters in the game. They deserve every dime that they get from the people. They worked for these pay-per-view fights, and so I'm not mad that Turkey's putting it on pay-per-view. What I want to know is the price, because that's where we're going to have an issue, because he keeps fucking going up and down and up and down, and I just don't know what. Did he talk before he actually seen what money was actually in boxing? Like when he was going, oh, it's going to be free. Oh, it's going to be $25. Oh, we'll see what it's going to be when we get there. Did he say all that not knowing that, dude, you're not going to get any sponsorship? There's not a big boxing fan base. You know, we don't push numbers on every single fight that we drop. You know what I mean? UFC, Top Rank is not the UFC. Not every fight does 1 million plus or whatever views. So did he talk before he figured all that out? If this fight is $90, I can almost guarantee you he talked before he ever realized that there was no money in boxing. The money simply comes from the fighter. The market has to be on the fighter. It has nothing to do with who's fucking promoting him. Sometimes you have a fucking Manny Pacquiao, and other times you have a Joe Blow. You know, some gold medal winners are freaking De La Hoya, and some are David Reed. You get what I'm saying? Like you just don't know. Just because you win a gold medal does not mean you're going on to make $1 billion in this sport. You know what I mean? It's up to the fighter. Maybe that's why Turkey's like, I need to try to do what they're doing with the UFC, and brought in Dana White to try to change that. I can guarantee you that's not happening in this sport. It's always going to be about the fighter. You get connected to first the nationality, right? That's the first thing that connects. And then it's their style, right? If you like their style or not. Then after that, it gets personal. Once you start seeing their kids and their wives, and hey, this dude's a straight up dude. You know what? Yeah, man, I could back this guy. Then you're never going to get that. You're not getting that away from boxing. That's going to be there. No one's changing that. So I think Turkey Ali Sheik is going to learn that the hard way. It's going to cost them about $10 million a year to learn that.
Yeah. I guess if, let's say it is on pay-per-view, right? And what kind of price range do you think? I mean, of course, this fight is still many months away, so they haven't even considered an undercard or anything like that, right? So let's say, for the sake of argument,
no, we know what the undercard is.
Oh, that's right. TKO fights. That's right.
Fucking Greg Haugen versus Butterbean. I'm just playing, Dana. I'm just playing.
Half playing. But we chances are we're going to get that sort of undercard, right? So the main event is going to be why people tune in. What kind of pay-per-view price do you think would be pretty fair? Like, without Turkey Al Sheikh saying, "Holy fuck, I lost so much money, I'm going to gouge the shit out of fans on this next fight," without going over the top. We just had 2 cards for $90 on the bundle. Hell, maybe they even do that again. Maybe there's a fight on the 12th. I don't know. But anyway. Let's say, for the sake of argument, they say, all right, pay-per-view, Canelo Crawford, September 13th. What kind of price do you think we're looking at?
That's a great idea. That's a great idea, and it works in Turkey's world because he owns everyone, right? Basically, whatever fight he wants, he gives the promoters a guaranteed purse. They give him the fight. He then bundles it with the Canelo fight. It's actually a great idea. $90 is what I was going to say with a bundle or not a bundle. Because you got to think, we used to pay 80, right? I'm not going back to the 80, when Mike Tyson was fucking fighting. Recently, it was like $80 a pay-per-view. Seemed like to be the going price.
Yeah.
And so with inflation, $90, why not? I would pay it $90 to watch that fight. It sucks. I don't want to do it every fucking weekend. I'll tell you that.
No.
I don't want to do it every month. I'll
Right.
tell you even that one. You know what I mean? I will find a reason not to watch it if you're going to do that every month.
UFC has a pay-per-view every month. Trust me, I don't pay for all of them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. Hey, bro, I'm going to tell you, I watched that fight on Saturday with my nephews. My nephews were watching when I was at a birthday party, and I was pretty impressed, Miguel. They did have 4 guys all watching the fight, texting each other. So I was like, I stepped back. I was like, all right, these guys are all in demographic around, 21, 27 years old.
Yeah.
They're all watching it. Here's the problem. Everybody was streaming. Not one person had that motherfucker.
Yeah. No one forced up the cash for that one.
Nobody. So I was like, whew.
You're like, that was close. Goddamn, I was sweating real quick.
Hey, that's all I have. They were all streaming, bro.
Yeah.
But no,
Overall.
it was a very popular fight. Oh, and guess what?
Hmm.
My nephew, I said, who are the 2 guys I got in on the main event? Because I thought they were just watching the undercard for free,
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we got the card. We're streaming the main event. I said, oh shit. I said, who are these guys? He goes, that dude's more of a grappler. That guy's a striker. I said, I got my money on the striker. They all give me that look because they all know I've probably gotten drunk and made the MMA boxing argument one too many times in my nephew's lives.
Yeah.
So they already know my argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then look who won.
Yeah. Well, the striker was stupid as fuck, dude. I mean, I'm sorry.
Damn,
The grappler. I meant to say the grappler. I meant to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because he started grappling way too late, dude. Bilal Muhammad, he started way too fucking late. He was already hurt.
He was already hurt.
Yeah, he was already hurt by the time he started wrestling. It's like, no, dude. And the Australian dude just beat his ass. Fucking, Jack Della Melodina. I forget his last name, but yeah, he whooped his ass. Did you see the ending with how bad his fucking lip was? Woo! Yeah. That shit was nasty. Me and my dad were loving that shit because we were going for the Australian dude. We're like, because this dude, the champion, he gets a lot of hate, and people hate that motherfucker. And I'm like, I don't see why they hate him so much. He talks a lot of smack. He deserved to lose, though, no doubt about it, because the fucker didn't keep his mouth shut. But yeah, I did catch that card. I didn't pay for it, but I did catch it. But on the subject of stadiums, recently, again, another announcement by One Ring Magazine. They are talking about the venue for their Ring 3 event on July 12th, headlined by Edgar Berlanga, and co-main event, I guess, Shakur Stevenson and William Cepeda, will take place at St. Louis Armstrong Stadium in Queens, New York. So with the theme of having unique locations for some of these fights, Times Square being one of them, Saudi Arabia being another one, now they're going to throw this fight here. Edgar is from New York, if I'm not mistaken. He's of Puerto Rican descent. So he's going to be at it in his backyard, so to speak.
What was the name of it?
Louis Armstrong Stadium in Queens, New York. So I don't know who the fuck plays there, but if you were gonna pull that shit up real quick.
Yeah, no, I am definitely.
It's Armstrong Stadium. Here we go. Is this
14,000 seats?
It looks like, I just pulled up a picture. It's like a tennis. It's like
tennis,
games,
tennis
right?
stadium. Yep.
All right. Wow, I didn't even know tennis had stadiums. I mean, I know there were like buildings where you played them shits, but I don't know they actually had specific or built specific stadiums for tennis. Good Lord. All right, so there's where they're gonna have it. Another sort of kind of unique location. When I saw stadium, I legitimately thought a baseball stadium. I didn't know.
Yeah,
what the fuck is
same here. That's why I was like, oh, well, what's this stadium? What's the seat capacity on that? That's very small, 14,000. That's a very small stadium. You can maybe hope they get another 5,000 maybe on the floor. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there, but brings it to around 20,000 seat venue. 19,000 seat venue. So
Damn,
hopefully
5,000 seems a bit much for the floor.
5,000 seems too much.
I think so. I just saw a picture of it.
Oh
And
yeah,
like,
right. Because that'd be
please.
yeah, you'd need over 1,000 seats on every side, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know. It just seems like a small venue. I don't know who they're. Oh, that's for the Cepeda fight.
Yeah, for Berlanga and Shiraz.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be loud.
Yeah,
That's gonna be loud.
But you think Berlanga, because he's really the only hometown person there. Like, he's from New York. Shiraz not so much. Shakur obviously not. Cepeda not. You
But
think that's
Mexicans
enough?
are everywhere. I don't want to not. I don't. You know what I mean? Like Mexicans, they show up, dude. They show up, show out. So I'm gonna say Cepeda has a strong fan base there because it's a big fight for him. Seriously, I mean, if you're a Cepeda fan, this is the top right here. This is the one that makes or breaks his career. This really sets him off if he gets this victory. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Mexicans over there in the East Coast that want to see this fight. Not even just from New York, but maybe on the East Coast itself that want to go and see this fight. It's an excellent card.
Oh wait, Shakur's from fucking New Jersey, isn't he? That's not too far. Okay, never mind. So Shakur, that makes sense. Okay, because I thought they were there just for Berlanga. It's like just for Berlanga, but no, Shakur's from New Jersey, so I think that makes. I get it now. That makes sense.
Yeah. So no, I like that. Man, I gotta get to New York one day. You see all the videos of New York. All the tourism is gone. Right now is a real good time to go.
Shit, no. I can hear that about here. Everybody everywhere I go is like, go Las Vegas dead. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? There's all the fucking people here. Shit.
Yeah, no, I just you see the videos, and we know that there's a little bit of the tariffs and everything. Everyone's boycotting everybody right now, so it just seems like maybe a time to catch one of these fights out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
might be time. I've always wanted to do it. I was so stupid, Miguel. You've seen all my credentials. You know how many free flights I had, bro, and I never once did anything else but Vegas. Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah,
like you can free flight anywhere. Yeah, we go to Vegas.
It's like you can go anywhere around Disneyland. No, you can go to fucking Australia. No, I want to go to Disneyland. No, go to Australia.
I said so many miles. Is that what it's called? Fuck, man.
How many points on your fucking credit card? Miles, travelers points. Have you been to New York ever? Like ever?
No.
Oh shit! Damn. No. I did go once. I went once for a UFC event back in 2018. It wasn't Barclays. It was Brooklyn. I have a close friend of mine who's a childhood friend who's in the military. At the time, he was actually stationed in Queens. So I went to visit him. I was like, hey, dude, it was April, and it's kind of like close to my birthday. I was like, dude, what do you think? UFC, fucking my birthday, whatever the hell, right? And he's like, yeah, dude, fuck it, we'll do it. So flew down there, and it was the crazy, if you remember, that whole issue with or the debacle with Conor McGregor throwing that dolly at the bus. It was that event. And I get off the plane, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit going on? And of course, the main event doesn't happen because of that fucking asshole. But regardless, that's the only time I've ever been there. And part of my bucket list is to watch a fight in New York City at some point. I was thinking MSG, like a fight worthy enough to go to MSG. This one is going to be it's kind of cool. Don't get me wrong. July. I don't know. It seems like it's a little too close to plan a fucking New York trip. But if you all want to go to New York, this would probably be a good time to do it because I've never been to that. That stadium looks pretty tight. It looks pretty cool. It doesn't look to be too big. It looks like a MGM Grand size stadium, so it doesn't look to be a crazy big. Really, that means that any seat you're going to get is going to be a pretty decent seat. And I anticipate it's not going to be too expensive. They're not going to be asking for $1,000. Well, maybe they will be a grand, but besides that, it'll be that and below, I guess. For
first few rows of the second deck might be the best.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A little elevated. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's that close.
So that's what we're gonna get. All right. Well, that's not bad. All right. That's another. I like the kind of slight exotic locations. We had Times Square, and now we're getting this one with Shiraz and Berlanga and Shakur and Cepeda. So now that's going to New York for sure.
Did you see? Did you see Turkey was with the president today?
Trump?
Yeah,
our president. Oh shit! No, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, he went there and met the prince. You didn't see all that on?
No, I don't watch the fucking.
They gave him a pretty good. The prince was at the red carpet to meet him. He was outside. I guess they never do that. And then Turkey was there. I feel like we knew Turkey.
Yeah.
This fucking guy. Yeah, he's like a boxing dude now. But
he's like we're all on a first name basis. Oh yeah, that's Turkey. That's Turkey right here. I know that guy. He held my hand once. We were walking. He held my hand.
hand.
He was like pulling me over to my seat.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. I guess Trump did some speech. They gave him the highest medal they have, Medal of Honor that they hold, and then he took some sanctions off of Syria. Made the prince give him a standing ovation. He stood up. So
wow,
big moves today. Oh yeah, and like $6 billion in trade deals.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, forgot he's bringing that home too.
Yeah,
So,
an extra $6 billion with a B. Nothing major, just kind of doing his things.
Turkey and the Prince doing all right today.
Quite. All right. Well, one of the other stories that I pulled up here is I don't know if I call it an announcement per se, but they've officially announced that on the undercard, I guess the co-main event of Pacquiao and Barrios is we're gonna get Fundora and Tszyu rematch. All right, I mean I'm down with that. It seems as though this fight's gonna take place in July. I believe they said July 19th. So we're gonna get and now this is kind of a one side of the story, of course, because one of the other sides of the story is that the WBC has now magically tossed in Manny Pacquiao in their rankings. I believe they said number 5 or some fucking shit like that. So they just, after being gone for God knows how many years and having lost his last fight to Ugas, a legitimate fight, not those exhibition shits, but he magically comes back and now he's number 5 all of a sudden. I believe it was number 5 if I'm not mistaken. But the point is he's being ranked and he's going to get first crack, of course, at Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. The co-main event, Tszyu versus Sebastian Fundora. Now, if you recall, Fundora was stripped of his WBO title, if I'm not mistaken, or he relinquished it, whoever, depends whose story you believe, and pretty much gave up the belt to not have to fight Xander Zayas, but instead fight the rematch with Tszyu, which could mean more money. Most likely that's usually why fighters are so willing to drop their belts, is because a bigger payday awaits them. Or now sometimes, every so often they're just a flat out duck and they don't want to fight the dude. Sebastian Fundora doesn't seem like that kind of person, so I have to assume, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Seems as though a rematch with Tszyu is going to be the more money one, so he's going to go in that direction. But this is a twin bill, Barrios Pacquiao main eventing, co-main eventing Tszyu and Fundora. What do you think of that? Not a bad card, huh?
Not a bad card, and really that's why Fundora moved away from the Zanas fight is because with Pacquiao attached to the bill, they're hoping their pay-per-view percentages go up, right? Their pay-per-view. So that's why they moved away. It is a better fight for them to go after Tszyu on the rematch. They've already beaten Tszyu. Granted, it was because of a cut. Not saying Fundora was going to win that thing outright, but they do have a victory over him. So they've been there, done that. He knows his power. He knows his style. The head don't move. Oh, wait a minute. The head don't move. Right?
Right.
That could have been it right there, man. Seriously, you're like, come on. We're going back to easy work. Tszyu, you got to listen to me. It's fucking easy work sometimes. So anyways, I like the fight. I like the card. I don't, Manny coming back for a belt. I guess I'm a little what is the scarred in this sport? Like it didn't really faze me. I kind of expect that of boxing. You know what I mean? We've done it for every other legend. I don't know why Manny would not get the same treatment, and we gave him the same treatment. He's back. He gets what is the word? Emiratus? Wasn't he the Emiratus WBC champ? Probably, anyways.
What do they call it? In recess or some shit? They always make up some fucking word like that. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It seems as though the fight is, I believe it's going to be taking place here, if I'm not mistaken, according to what this article is saying. So it seems as though it's going to happen on the 19th here in Vegas. I believe they said also T-Mobile Arena. So Tszyu has fought here before. I forgot, was it that fight? As a matter of fact, yeah, I think it was a fight with Fundora where he lost, where they did fight before here. I think it was the MGM, it might have been. But it seems like we're going to get that one back. That's a pretty decent card. If that was, chances are that's going to be a pay-per-view card. I wouldn't mind paying for that one. That was not too bad. That one, seeing Manny Pacquiao one last time, who knows if it's been one last time, but his last title run, I guess we can say, because we know that this is just the first step, right? It's not like Manny's just coming back for a one fight and then call it a day. Going after the champion who may be considered the weakest of the four or the three champs at welterweight to snatch his belt and then be like, all right, off to the sunset I go. Like, no, I think he's got one more run in him. It seems as though that's the case with Manny. So I'd be down to pay for him and for that, to see him come back. And then the rematch with Fundora and Tszyu, considering their first one was a fucking brawl, I'd be down to pay for that one.
Yeah, no, two excellent fights, and like you said, it's the return one more time, seeing a legend like Manny Pacquiao, see if he can do it. It's not a major upset. Barrios is one of these guys who've been hanging around for a while, so we really don't know who he is against a legend either. So, wouldn't it be a great story if Manny came back to win? So. Definitely looking into the fight. I hope they don't make it $90. I know they probably will. It's the PBC.
Well, the PBC has been doing $75 ones. At least that's what I remember. So those weren't too bad. I mean, I still didn't pay for them, but I remember was it? Yeah, Tank and fucking Roach, I think, was $75 or $80. Tank and Frank Martin, I believe, was $75 as well. And that one did have Benavidez on the co-main event. So this seems to be like I mean, maybe that Pacquiao Barrios one is just for the name recognition, right? But Fundora and Tszyu, that one's gonna be pretty fucking solid. And talking about bringing fights back to Vegas, it seems as though it's going to be here at T-Mobile. Whether or not it fills up that stadium, I don't know. But I mean, shit, I'd be down to submit fucking request for credentials to that one. That'd be pretty badass. That'd be a summer blockbuster, summer blitz. And it's not another PBC or another Tank pay-per-view by PBC. It's somebody else, for fuck's sake. It's Barrios and Pacquiao.
Do you have the big news? Huh? Do you have the big news from PBC in our stories today?
No. All I have is Teofimo's naughty language. But besides that, no. What big news? Please tell me.
Oscar De La Hoya is saying that he's going to merge with. What the fuck?
It wasn't a merge. No, it wasn't a merge. Was it? It was just it was some sort of cryptic fucking message. But
it sounded like let's make history.
Right. But I mean, is that what that means? I mean, are you sure that's what that means? It could very well mean. Let me see if I can pull it up here. But I remember him saying something.
Does Oscar know how Al Heyman made the PBC? Does someone need to sit Oscar down and be like, remember all of these guys? They were all Golden Boy. Then Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer came in, took all of your company, tried to label you a drug addict. Like Oscar, it blew me away that he posted that, as if this is some new alliance that he has. No, Al Heyman's been with you before, bro. He almost took Golden Boy, but we're gonna do that again. He was drinking. He had to have been drinking. He had to have been drinking, bro. Why did he post that? Like, if everyone doesn't know that Al Heyman almost fucking robbed him of his whole company
stable. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it. I saw it somewhere here, but I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. But yes, he did kind of tease. He's like gonna make history. So when I saw that, and I'll continue to search for it here as I mentioned it. When I saw that, I thought it was gonna be some sort of collaboration or something like that. Like, not necessarily like purchase them per se, but some sort of collaboration, somehow.
All right. Well, when you say collaboration, are we talking a fight card, or are we talking Golden Boy and PBC being in the same building?
Doesn't that mean the same thing?
No. A fight card would mean like what him and Eddie Hearn did. They put a fight card on together. Your 5 versus my 5. Is that what you're
okay?
Yeah, is that what you're talking about? Or you? Because I thought it sounded more like a merger, like bringing two of the powerhouses together. And it just blew me away that I don't know why he wouldn't have worded it 5-on-5 coming soon, or,
So you think if it was a 5-on-5 type thing, he would just say it?
Yeah, because he's already done these type of things, and they were pretty cool, to be honest with you. I kind of like as long as they're 5 known fighters, it's kind of cool when 2 promoters go up against each other like that. Sucks for Eddie Hearn, but it's cool for everyone else.
All right, so I found it here. It was on Instagram. It says Oscar De La Hoya teases historic partnership between Golden Boy and
Boom.
PBC. And in the post, which I think is either X, I'm not sure where the hell he posted this at, but basically it says he tags Golden Boy and then he tags Premier Boxing or PBC, and there's like a handshake emoji, and it says ready to make history. So I'm gonna go read the caption. Oscar De La Hoya dropped a hint on his IG story of a soon-to-be announced partnership between Golden Boy Promotions and Premier Boxing Champions or PBC.
Crazy.
Now that Golden Boy and PBC will be working together, what cross-promotional fights would you like to make? Yada 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 yada. So now
How
here's
good?
uh,
How good of a mouthpiece does this man Al Heyman have, bro?
uh, yeah. I mean, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, or the way around, shame on you. How many times does Oscar have to get fooled here before he's like, ain't nobody working? Let's just blacklist this son of a bitch and make sure nobody works with him again.
That is one hell of a mouthpiece, man. That is getting divorced and getting back into the house. Seriously, they went to court. He had to pay him, or Schaefer had to pay Oscar $50 million. Oscar won the shit in court. He won that lawsuit of some sabotage or whatever they were trying to do behind his back. And then to go back and shake his hand again. Al Heyman, I don't want to say you're a pimp, but you're a pimp. Damn.
He's a salesperson. He's a really good car salesman.
I changed, baby.
Yeah.
I changed.
I promise. I'm working. I got a job now. I stopped drinking. But it's like one of those things where like the car salesman taps the car 3 times, like, yep, this baby here will get you, like this PBC promotion here, I'm gonna give you your fighters back. What? You give me fighters back? All of them. I'll give you Danny Garcia back, right? I'm fucking Oscar.
Can you imagine when Oscar starts hearing that he's talking to his guys again, on their own time? Hey, yeah, Al already called me about that, dude. Like, ugh.
Yeah, that'd be some shit. They've said this about Vince McMahon, WWE or former WWE CEO. He'll have beef with you. He'll fucking have beef with you, and he will fight tooth and nail. But the second he realizes that there's a way to make money with you, he will forget he even went the other fucking way. As long as at the end of the day he can end up making money with you, and he has done that. If anybody remembers, in the early '90s when there was a big war between the two top wrestling organizations, WWE and WCW, WWF at the time, and WCW, one of the front runners, one of the guys who was running WCW was this guy named Eric Bischoff. When they folded, I mean, some of the wrestlers came over. That guy didn't. Bischoff didn't. But when he finally did, and he showed up on television, we're like, what? We're all losing our fucking minds because Vince McMahon didn't give a fuck. He's like, you know what? I won. These guys already folded. Want to come and work for me now? And they're like, okay, cool. Fuck yeah, let's go. And then we see them, hand and shake, holding hands and doing this thing in the ring. We're like blowing our fucking dick off. But I mean, can you imagine if we see this motherfucker come out with Al Heyman? I can imagine Al Heyman had to sell him some sort of story like, hey, I'll give you your fighters back. I'll give you Adrian Broner back or whatever the fuck, right? Like, I don't know. Is this dangling the fucking carrot? Like, hey, here's your chance to get all your fighters back. You want to get me back, Oscar? This is your chance. Let's do a partnership. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe. Is that like, I mean, how else is he going to lure him in?
The Oscar is the only one that looks desperate. I don't care if Al Heyman came crawling back. Oscar looks bad in this situation, bro. They literally tried to rob. They did rob him first off.
But here's the thing. Will he look bad? Because here's the thing. Right now, as the way it looks, Oscar is good with DAZN. He's doing okay. PBC is going downhill very, very fast. So at the end of the day, Oscar won. Oscar survived. He still got his shit, right? So he survived the possible sabotage that they were trying to do on him. Isn't that enough to be like, look, motherfucker, I won. Now you're groveling at my feet.
PBC might be kicking out more pay-per-views than Oscar is at this very moment. They have.
Well, that's what they're doing.
Well, that means they're still making money, though, right? Where Oscar has been kind of throwing his fights around. I don't want to say who's making more money, but the PBC, for all the stories that we said about this company going to disappear, going to liquidate and just go away, it has not happened, and they still have fights that are in the what is it? They're in the
pipeline. They're on the way.
Pipeline. There you go. They're in the pipeline right now. Pay-per-view fights that are about to happen. So No, Al Heyman, I think, is just doing his thing. I don't know what the hell this merger is about, but it's not a good look for Golden Boy. It is not a good look to put your company in the hands of a person that you've already sued trying to take your company. And they actually did take the company. They left you with Canelo for a little bit. It's a weird. That was like when I seen that one, I thought Oscar was drinking. I was like, hey, does he not fucking remember? Does he not remember the bullshit? You know, like how desperate do you have to be to go back to someone who abused you? Literally, literally had you in a mental hospital, literally had you in a rehab. Now, I'm going to say, look, I'm telling you guys right now, I still think the day that Oscar was in fishnets he was planted. I'll say that till the day I die, until someone and I don't give a fuck what Oscar's broken ass has to say about it 20,000 therapists later. I'm talking about when it happened. Do you know how easy it is to get a man who has an addiction in some fucking fishnets after you get him out on his feet? That ain't hard at all. The fuck? So I don't believe Oscar De La Hoya drives around with fucking boxing gloves and walks around with girls that are almost 6 foot tall that he absolutely fits in. Oscar's never been in shape in between fights, but on this night he fits in the fucking same fishnets as the stripper. I want to know what size. Does Oscar even know what size fishnets he was wearing? I bet you he doesn't. Bet you he fucking doesn't, Miguel.
Do they even come in men's sizes? Do they come in like extra large?
Even if they were in big girl, though. Even if they're in size, he knows that chick ain't no fucking 10. She ain't no 12. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, did he even look at the tag to see what size those things were? Hey, Oscar, have you tried to put on fishnets that are size, what, maybe a 4, a 5 for her size? What do you think a stripper really is?
Yep. And not just like some piece of shit stripper from like, you know, on the block, like some hot piece of ass who's like, you know, stays in shape.
Right.
Was thin.
There's so many. He's so stupid. I would have got him out of that so fast.
So what's worse, the fishnets or working with PBC?
Yeah. I mean, not the fishnets if you're watching the Diddy trial. Diddy is helping out a lot of these weirdos right now. Jeez almighty, the details coming out on that thing. No, Oscar's cool. Oscar could have partied with Diddy. They're boys. No, it's not. It's the fucking going back to Al Heyman, man. I don't know what he's gonna accomplish by doing this. Is he looking at a Ryan Garcia Tank Davis fight? Is that what they're talking, this merger for that sort of deal? I really don't get it, and it just looks bad on Golden Boy's part because of how he left, how him and the PBC broke up. To be honest with you, you see Richard Schaefer is working with Turkey Ali Sheik. That's weird too. That's weird to see how that man got into that building. You know, good mouthpieces these guys have. You know, total corruption. Totally got their cards pulled on what they were doing. Yet here we are. They're still coming in. Al Heyman is back in Golden Boy's building. Weird, fucking weird.
But that'd be pretty badass if we do get some sort of 5-on-5. I mean, we're looking at maybe Munguia versus Plant or something like that, right? Or one of Carlos. That'd be pretty fucking sick. Maybe headlined by Garcia Davis. Although I doubt it though, because I don't. Davis is going to do a fight at 147. I doubt he's going to do that. But
Davis wants money. We know he wants out, so he might be willing to do anything right now. He already won at 142. So you know he might be willing. We'll see. We'll see. It might be. Where's Cepeda at?
135.
So him and Davis then, right?
Yeah, him and Davis is supposed to be. Yeah, that would have been.
It could be. That could be the fight then. Cepeda has a lot going for him, man. He's one fight away. And look, we got to give credit to Oscar. You know, I will say Oscar hasn't been getting as many pay-per-views, but there is not a promoter that doesn't get his fighters in these lines to take over the sport, not just fucking become champions, right? Like Gilberto Ramirez, when he got his shot at, who was it, Bivol? That was his moment. You know what I mean? Ryan Garcia's had his moment. You know what I mean? Canelo had his moment. That dude was going to take over the sport. He was a few rounds away from beating Floyd. With this, you know, on their scorecards, not on mine. So Oscar does a very good job, and I gotta say, this William Cepeda, man, He's right on the brink. He's right on the brink. Takes Shakur and you get Tank after. Talk about legendary. That's where that ball never stops rolling. You know what I mean? It'd be like overnight, all of a sudden, the whole country would be screaming Cepeda's name, literally.
Yeah, even at 154, we got, let's say, Fundora beats Tszyu, then maybe Fundora, Virgil Ortiz. Virgil's a golden boy dude. Those kind of possibilities, if it goes down, because mind you, this was I think 2 days ago is when this was posted. So it seems to be, according to this post here, soon to be announced partnership.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
5-on-5?
The 5-on-5. Right. You stay in your building, I'll stay in my building. How about that? And we'll talk on the fucking phone. That I can work with. But this whole partnership, don't be a merger, because wow, if you get burned again, that is shame on you. That's the fuck.
Yeah. Yet again, you get burned yet again. Good Lord.
And Al should take his girl too. Al should just do the whole 9 yards. Not only just take the stable, just take the girlfriend too. Fucking dumbass.
Just take a picture with that plastic ass bitch that he's always with.
That poor thing. I feel sorry for them when they do that much to their bodies. I really do. It's because I see a lot of it out here in the Bay Area. What you look like when your peak has passed on plastic surgery, because there's a peak to that too.
Yes. You can only do that so many times.
That's right.
You can't always stretch the face too much. At some point, it will wrinkle up.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And Oscar himself, I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Okay, to close off our fucking show here, our first show. Where are we at with time? I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you know this.
I gotta go soon. Let's do the one more. Cool. Yeah,
one last one.
I gotta eat dinner
because it doesn't pop up on my end. The timer doesn't pop up on my end for some reason, but whatever. So there's been a lot of reports of one Teofimo Lopez and his potty mouth language. He recorded hitting a punching bag, and he turns to the camera and says a couple of things. I will not repeat the actual words though that he believes, or that is believed that he's been saying. However, according to him, he's saying, "Where is the liquor at?" Because his dad has been accused of being an alcoholic. So he turns and he's talking to Crawford in the camera, right? Saying, "Hey, where's the liquor at?" I'm not sure how that makes sense at that exact moment, but that's his excuse. It has been reported that Teofimo Lopez is going to be investigated by the WBO for racism. So I don't know to what degree this, investigation is going to go, but it's going to be to, the WBO. So I'm assuming they're going to maybe hand down some sort of punishment. I don't know if that's even a thing, but apparently this is not the first time that he's been, under fire when it comes to his language, his racial language here. But first off, Andrew, when you see that video, I don't know if you saw it, where he's hitting the punching bag and he turns to the camera and he says what people think he says.
Clearly said it. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. Do you believe him? Do you believe that he's fucking that he actually says what he said, or what everybody's saying?
If we're talking about the same video, no, I thought it was clear as day is what he said. Mm-hmm. And when I heard it, I was a little, not disgusted is too strong of a word, but over it, right? Like, bro. Now he sounds kind of stupid. Now he just sounds dumb now. Like when Terrence was in your face, and I guess he's gonna say this is all about the promotion, but when he was in his face, he was acting hella fucking skittish, right? Oh no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I was doing. And then you literally drop the ER. You don't drop the A. Right? It ain't the street. Because I do believe, you know what, they a lot of the how do you say it? Urban community gets mad when a non-African American uses the NA term, right?
Yeah.
I don't buy that one. It's not the same word. They made it not the same word, and putting it in all their rap songs and putting it in their vocabulary as when they talk to you. I'm from the Bay Area, so there's a mix of cultures out here, right? I had black friends, I had Asian friends, white friends, I had all friends, right? When they can say it to me, like it's not, I can walk down the street in my neighborhood, they're saying, "What's up?" I'm not gonna say it and be politically correct on the fucking radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I feel like it's wrong when you have certain guys on that celebrity status and they go, you can't say that word at all. Like bullshit. Not when I bought your fucking album for the last 20 years and all you've been putting in my head was that word, but you put it in my head as what's up, homie? What's up, bro?
Right.
What's like this is my nigga, right? That's my guy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That's how we're using it. We're not using it in no other word. If you use it like the iced tea guy, what was that? Lipton iced tea? They got smacked in the face. Remember that viral video?
Oh yeah, the dude that got like fucking hit at the
Canelo. Yeah, the guy hit.
Yeah.
If you use it in that way, well then you deserve what you get right where you're standing, right?
Yeah, right.
But no, you can miss me with they're the same word. They are not the same word. When you drop that ER, you better be ready to throw them hands. Because that word is a triggering word. That's on site. That there's not, you make everyone turn. When you use the NA one, half the fucking room don't turn around. And we heard that word all fucking day. So, comedy shows, movies. If you're into the urban world from 1980 to 2025, that shit's been embedded into your brain as a what's up slang.
Mm-hmm. So he's under fire for that. I mean, it's not the first time he's fucking said it, because he's talked about even like when he talked about monkeys, right? He's like, where the monkeys at?
Yes.
You know that,
Yes.
and then the one with Keyshawn Davis and Baron Check with like the delivery, and he's like watching the video eating a banana. It's like you're not doing yourself any favors.
He sent it.
Yeah, right. And says he sent it. So. It's not doing himself any favors. I don't know to what degree the WBO is going to look into this or what kind of investigation, because I mean, he does hold the WBO championship at 140. So I'm assuming they have some sort of jurisdiction for them to be like, hey, cut that shit out, or you're not carrying our belt or whatever. I don't know if he's willing to go as far as relinquishing the belt. If not, I mean, this is just me spitballing here, so I don't know if that's going to be the case. But he certainly isn't making a case for himself. He's making it worse at this point. I'm reading some of the articles here, and it doesn't seem to be too interesting. It just says, more stuff about the stuff, that videos of him posting. Because it looks like somebody on Twitter tagged the WBO and the guy who runs the WBO. I don't know if he's like let me see here. I'm reading real quick. Oh, the president, Gustavo Olivieri. I can't pronounce his last name. Somebody tagged him on Twitter and said, like, dude, if this is going on with Ryan Garcia, because Ryan Garcia sent some shit, where the fuck is this for Teofimo? So he replied saying, like, yes, rest assured, we will carefully investigate any and all potential violations of our rules, regardless of the fighter, and proceed with accordance to due process and guarantees. So it's obvious that they're going to do something about it or look into it. What will come of it, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But it's that he seems to be digging the hole deeper and deeper. Teofimo, I'm saying
he didn't even have to. Miguel, Terrence Crawford gave him a motivation on a silver platter when he called his family a bitch. Whatever girl he was talking to, Lopez's sister, cousin, mother, I don't know who he was talking to. But there's a video out there where Terrence Crawford gets into an altercation with Lopez's team, and he calls her a straight bitch. Shut up, bitch, before I slap you. Shut up, bitch. Like, I was like, Terrence, that's not a good look. I literally, when I seen that video, I was like, oh my God. Well, you don't want to be on video calling girls bitches and you'll slap them. Don't want that either. That's not a racist slur, but it's pretty fucking bad. It's like both these guys are really hurting their marketability when they're putting out videos like this. They're very similar boats, both of them. So I was like, oh, Lopez, he's got to come back and come back with that. That's what you come back. You just made him a victim again. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like, talk about silver platter. So I don't like it. It's not a good look. You can't say, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and then spit literally racism slurs right after that. All of these boxers, bro.
Yeah.
All of them.
Just like Ryan himself. He's like, thank you, Jesus. He's like, man, fuck you, fucking your mom. Like, what?
Little bitch, you big bitch and little bitch.
Yeah.
I want to thank Jesus for this moment.
Yeah.
So fight. It's so much. So yeah, I don't like. I'm over. Look, Lopez is a great fighter. I want to see him in the ring. The WBO ain't going to do shit. I don't know what they can do, right? They're not going to strip them because that's taking money out of their own mouth. That's dumb. I don't know if they have a guy that can beat them. Like, let me tell you, the only thing they could do is like pray there was an Oscar De La Hoya coming out of the Olympics, then they'd be like, yeah, as soon as he fights Lopez, 12-round decision. Fuck this guy. We're getting rid of him. That would be that. That's how they'd get rid of him. They'd give that belt to someone else. Unfortunately, I don't see anyone that can beat Lopez fairly right now, right on the WBO ranking chart. So their hands are really tied behind their back on what they're going to do to the champ. He makes the most money. He's the most decorated. From his last fight, looks like one of the most skilled fighters in the junior welterweight division. So he is where he is. Where he should get hurt is, and I don't know how much money he really has coming in through promotionally, but that's where he should get hit. They should take that money from him. Stop putting him on fucking whatever you're signing him to say. And let me tell you, with what he's saying, I can almost guarantee you the guy don't sell shit. I can guarantee you that. Right?
Yeah.
You would be a fool. He would be fired the next day. Dropping that ER, you're fired the next day. If, matter of fact, it might be that night. If the video goes viral the same day, you might be fired by the nighttime. Definitely fired the next day.
Well, funny you mention that because the talking about the next guy that could potentially come in and whoop his ass. Keyshawn Davis and him have gone back and forth when they're on the stage together talking mad shit. Now, Keyshawn is at 135, but I'm sure he can make 140 no problem. He is a WBO champ at 135. So in the event that, Top Rank is like, let's get this motherfucker out here real quick. Hey, Davis, what do you think about moving up real quick to 140 and whooping this motherfucker's ass and sending them off into the sunset?
He'd be up by 2 rounds in round 1.
Before it's like 2018, right? Before the fucking first bell rings. But that would be some shit because I don't know if you've watched some of their videos, but they've been like kind of heckling one another when they're on stage, going back and forth. Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo, so that'd be pretty.
Keyshawn, another one that seemed like he lightweight punked Teofimo, right? Remember that? He was like, "Hey, why'd you say I sucked?" And Teofimo, "Oh, I didn't say you sucked." He always backtracks on what he's saying on the social media, But yeah, it was lightweight. Keyshawn kind of punked him on that stage. So yeah, Lopez looked great in his next fight. Straighten the shit out. If this is all for promotion, let's stop it. That's not a way to promote the fight. It really isn't. That makes you look dumb.
Well, it can't be that. I mean, it's not like he's gonna fight fucking Crawford. He's not gonna. The only person he's gonna fight soon maybe is Boots Ennis, but he hasn't said shit. He barely says anything about Boots Ennis anymore. So it's like it's about his promotion.
Yeah, his name. Right, if that's how you're going to try to get your name, you're absolutely right. It's a better way to say it. If that's how he's going to promote himself, it's a terrible look. You're digging a deeper hole than actually getting out of anything. And if your A was really 900,000, because I don't think it was 10 million. I'm sorry.
No, you don't think 10 million?
Fuck no.
I mean, hold on. He how many? What was the purse bid? Like 6 mil?
Bro, they haven't even given us a fucking number on that fight.
No, and you know what? I've asked. I went on Twitter and I asked Rick Glazer, "Hey, dude, any numbers on the pay-per-view? Numbers?" Wow. I went and I fucking asked. Who was it? Mike Coppinger as well. I tagged him on the fuck because I see, he talks about anything to do. Every time I see them post something recent, I'm like, okay, cool. They might be near their phone. Let me go ahead and reply. And Rick Glazer replied, he's like, haven't looked into that, but I will. I was like, all right, cool. Thanks. I just started. I was like, all right, got to do my research because I have yet to. We're 2 weeks almost or a week and a half removed from it. We probably should have already known by last Wednesday.
A ballpark.
Yeah, something, right? Not a fucking thing, dude. Not a peep. So that. What is it when we don't hear a peep from those people? Is that it probably didn't do that well?
As a bomb.
I still would. I mean, but how could it have bombed though? I mean, clearly it seems as though it did, but how could have? It was 2 cards. We didn't know we were going to get some of the stinkers that we had on the fucking card. People, I'm sure paid. I paid. I'm down to pay the bundle to get it. I still haven't heard anything, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled. And as soon as I hear back from either Coppinger or Glazer himself, you best believe you're going to hear it from me. But yeah,
when I type in Canelo pay-per-view buys, it shows me Berlanga only. So still on the Berlanga one.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, that does it for our first show back from our, failed with Skype. I'm sorry if you guys, if there are any Skype fans out there, but Skype is no more. So now we're gonna give Google Meets a try and see how this goes. So hopefully everything turned out okay. There weren't any issues with the recording or the audio or anything like that. But I will have to say, I know you're recording on your end, Andrew, but I don't see a timer, so I don't know what the fuck. I'm just basically calculating this shit. So, but this should do it. Andrew, is there anything else you wanted to add before we call this post Mother's Day show?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, fair enough. Do we have any fights? I got my calendar here.
I don't know. I don't know how to hang up, so I'm just gonna hit this red button at the top left corner, bro.
Right. Well, before you do, from my co-host Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lavishay, this has been Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Feed Migs, with Mad Boxing Show. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Stop recording now. All right, it did it.